Hi everyone, it's Rhea, and this is what we're going to color today. This is an image that I purchased the rights from Sassy Cheryl. I purchased several of her images and we'll be using them in classes along with some of some digis from other artists. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to make a background fade to white. We're going to learn we're going to make the bottom shadowed but add some reflection. We're going to make a bunny that looks really haggard. Like he, you know, obviously the bunny just woke up. And it's a she because we did the cup white. And we're also going to learn how to color the right way a circle leaving a highlight. So this also includes using some pencils on the top of markers for details when we're done. And if you look below on the YouTube below in the description, it will give you all of the colors and combos that you'll need to complete the class. You can substitute, not a problem. If you have any questions, my email will be down below as well. And when you get your image, you're going to print it out at full size. Okay, you have the outline, the stitching, and everything already there. And the sentiment is something that one morning my husband and I came up with years ago, and it was a stamp when I had Rhea's Twisted Side. So when I saw this image, I thought, oh, that's perfect. I gotta change the toner in my machine, so, but that's okay. So the image itself is 5 1/4 by 4 and 1/16. Okay, so at 100%, print it out, and if you have the ability, you can print 4 to a page at 100%, so you have practice. And then what I did was I added, we're going to color the outline, and then we're going to put it on a black mat to cover up the card to make it pop. Okay, so let's get started on coloring. Okay, so we're going to use our sky colors listed below, and I just refilled my blending marker because I want it to be very, very juicy. And the way to make it blend to white is to take a very juicy blending marker and go to about where you want the color to fade out and saturate it. first I'm going to remove this paper. Sometimes I use paper, and sometimes I just color on my mat. Now I'm going to take, make sure I'm on the screen there, BG quad 0, or 4 zeros. Now I know that right there on that fine little line is where it's going to stop, and that's the ground. Now I'm going to come up in a wide line. I'm going to outline the bunny. You always want to do, in my opinion, you always want to do your sky areas, or as long as it's light. I'm going to start there. Leave that lid off for a second. The temperature in here is pretty good. Typically, I would say do not, cap your markers every time you use them. By using a glass background, it's going to not absorb. Paper isn't going to absorb this, so it will stay wet longer. So back to what I was saying. You're going to want to do your lightest color background first. And notice I'm using the side of my nib. I'm going up into the wet part, which you can kind of see. When you're doing it, you'll see it. But I'm staying within that line that I created. That's giving me a barrier, so I don't color Miss Bunny blue or blue-green. Now I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to finish this area. And I'm going to go back and go over the other area. So you do want a very juicy blending marker. I don't care that I just went over that coffee dribble or splash. And I'm going to outline the rest. Trust me, and I will color outside the lines because I always do. I need new glasses, but I have my readers on. We're going to go ahead and just color this in. Right here, there's one little spot between the arms and the nose and the arm or the handle of the cup. See, just did it. Turn your paper because it helps. And I hope you can see what I'm coloring. I have my iPad tilted. Okay. Now back to my blending marker. Really going back and forth. Going back over some of that. See how this faded to white? Can you see what I'm doing? Look up at my TV. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to simply do white flicks. Don't worry about going off the edge of your paper because we're going to cover that up with another color. Now the squeakiness is not because my marker's dry, it's the pressure. Okay, now we're going to work backwards, and I'm going to use BG72. Bring that in a little bit closer. Now let's draw a line. So we have a barrier. It's always good to have that barrier. Now I'm going to bring in my paper. Because I don't want to oversaturate. Should have started at the other end. If it's cold, it's still wet. And draw your barrier a little bit about to her armpits. And then I want you to flick. Wide flicks. Okay? Right under here. And this is where I'm going to go outside the line. Okay, right now. Where's my card? I am going to refer to my card. Okay. Okay, okay. The reason we're flicking is because when you do a flick, put the brush down, you put the nib down, and you come up. Small or big, it doesn't matter. You have more ink at the base, less at the top, and it will make your blending easier. Sometimes people don't understand, like, what do you mean, like flicking? Consider it like sweeping the floor with your broom. You put the broom down and you sweep it forward. Okay. So that was 72. Now I'm going to go to BG10. And draw that a line. just start breaking down the ink, and I'm going to come back into the 72, and I'm going to work that line. These are difficult to blend, but we will get there. I have to do a little bit of scrubbing. But seriously, if you come back and sweep that color forward, you'll get some muddling, because 10, BG10 is kind of like a super soaker. And I heard the term super soaker from another teacher. Could have been, I think it was Amy from Valilla Arts. Trust me, I never stop taking classes. Never stop learning. Could have been Jen Dove. Could have been Mindy Baxter. I like that term, super soaker. Super soaker. Okay. I'm going to put some ink right there on the edge. It's really important when if you're a teacher and you're teaching online, you didn't create everything. You didn't, come up with every technique. So it is important that you give credit where credit is due. So if you picked up a technique from somebody, give them credit for it. That's what teaching's all about. That's what learning's all about. Okay, so right now, I think that's all I'm going to do with the 10. Now I'm going to come in with my BG000. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm come up a little bit higher, and I'm going to go down. Try to blend these colors together as much as possible. They're totally different. When you get into a 7, you're getting into towards the middle of the color wheel, which means that you're getting darker and you're getting more pigment, and you're going into a deeper tone, more gray tone. And when you're down to the zeros, it's a lighter and more cool tone, where the 7 is a warmer tone. The 9s have a lot of ink in them, so they're almost impossible to blend with a 0. This is not easy, so you've got to work it, girl. And it's not going to be perfect, but we're getting from turquoise to a blue shade as much as possible. Now, the 72 is going to be muddled. Come up here. Let me see if I can get my hand out of the way. And I want all of this go over here. BG000 is another super soaker. Why? Because it's so much lighter. It has more blending solution in it and less pigment. So it's going to eat up the 7 that has more pigment. Now they're blending. See this? But it's also looking desaturated and overcolored. But I don't care. How you like that? Sometimes that look a little bit up here, a little bit up here. Sometimes that look is kind of cool. Gotta be honest with you. Now we're going to go back and forth again with the 0 and the BG quad or 4 zeros. And this time I'm just going to go all the way across, soak it, I'll go ahead and cap that because it tends to dry out faster than the ones with ink in it. Put another coat on. Remember, always remember, there's one coat that is called the pure coat of ink, and then when you put the second coat on, it makes it darker. If you've taken any of my classes live, go back over all of it. Not very cold. Notice how I went over the other area because it would migrate the color down. Am I still on screen? Sorry if the camera wobbles, my head hits it. Make sure we get down in there. So this you kind of got to do fast when you're working with the colorless blender. Now, see how that's jagged right here in the color? Make that disappear. Could you do this with a 72? No, not really. It would be very, very difficult. Now somebody's going to go out there and prove me wrong, and I would love that, because then Now I don't like, gotta bring that color up higher on this side. So I'm gonna go with the 000 and bring that up higher. And then the quad 0, I want my chisel in. Now this one is not going to look exactly the same as my sample, because you can never color the same thing exactly like you've colored it before. Especially since I've colored that weeks ago. Now I'm going to come up a little bit higher. There we go. And I'm good with that. Now, come back with 72. A lot of ink here. But I like having the depth. And there's so much ink here that it should blend flawlessly. See how that brings that back to life, and it's starting to blend already. And it looks less muddled. Make that line straight. Nothing in life is straight. Nothing in life is perfect. I'm sorry if I'm making you sick, but I do. I move my paper. Especially now that I have limited mobility with my arm. Okay, that was 72, back to 10. See how that 72 and that 10 just, it was easy to blend the second time? Love that. I'm going to bring the BG 3 zeros. After teaching so many live classes, I can hear you guys, somebody out there yelling, "What color are you using?" And I know that some of my friends from Maryland are here online, and they're laughing that I just said that. Because how many times was that said in class? A lot. Now, part of the reason I moved my paper is because I can draw a straight line. Well, number one, I'm left-handed and I'm kind of weird. But I can draw a straight line better towards me than I can away from me. And I can flick differently towards me than I can away from me. Okay, we are almost done with the background here. Come up around the little tail. See, I just love it. Blends like butter. And I'm using Copic Express It paper. I don't even know if it's Copic. It's just Express It paper. Get it online. Now I'm going to come back with my 3 zeros, BG 3 zeros. Calm down a little bit. I can see my work. I can't see my TV. Have you hooked up? I have it hooked up to a monitor so that I make sure that I stay on the screen. Now, last step to the background is BV20. I might go a little bit darker. I didn't on that one, but I want to deepen just this part. And the BV20s are a must-have. Now it's kind of fading that out. Flip that up just a bit. It's blending. And what it's doing is it's just deepening the bottom section. And creating a shadow at the same time now I don't have this on the list, but I'm going to reach for BV23. You should collect all of the BV20s. If you do not have them, get them. They are like grays. They're a must-have. We're going to do some things with cast shadows another time. Now, just by adding that line right there, it just really dropped it back, because we're going to pop this forward. And while I've got my 20s out, my 220s, we're going to go ahead and do this section and then take a break. So what I'm going to do, the cup is lifted up, and I'm not really going to worry too much about shadows. And notice that I'm on the side of my nib, and there's that flick. It's dark here and it's going lighter. And I'm going lighter. The Bonnie, little bitty Bonnie. Love this. I love this image. I'm just gonna, we'll add to it. Okay, it's like 45, 40 something degrees, and these ding dongs are on motorcycles? Are you kidding me? Doesn't matter if I go up into the background here. Certain places I want darker. leave it there for now. I can always add more later. I kind of like the shadow feel here. And I'm barely touching the paper. Now I could keep working it and working it. I need to work that a little bit more. But I like the gradient that I'm getting. Let's bring that along the bottom. There we go. All right. So we've just completed 2 sections. I always like to do the background. If it's a sky, I'll do the sky first because it's always the lightest. In this case, it's not. And then I'll do the ground. And then I'm going to do the bunny last, and we're going to come back and I'll do the cup and then the coffee. Okay? All right. So you can take a short break, and when I come back, we'll start with that. Okay, we're back. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and continue with the cup. I'm going to do the coffee first. And the coffee is E21, E23, turn that around so you can see it, and E25. Okay, I'm going to start with E21, and I'm trying to turn my camera, there we go, at an angle so that hopefully you can see my pen better. And I'm laying down the first coat of E21 first. Okay. Because I like cream and sugar in my coffee. And then I'm going to go to the darkest, which is E25. Just to create some shadows. In case you didn't hear that, just create shadows. I can't find the cord to my microphone. Thin line here. I'm going to give it some depth. I don't know why I chose this side. The right side to put the color in. But nonetheless I did. So a little bit in each of the splashes. This would go underneath. This one would go underneath. Now we're going to go to 23. Oh, that was 23. Oops, my bad. So No, that was 25. 1 inch is 23. That was 23. I got caps wrong. This is 25. See what happens? This is 23. Put my cap back on. All right. Forget what I just did. Now we're going to do this again. 25. Now these colors are going to blend easy because they're in the same family, the 20s. And it's 21, 23, and 25. So you will find that they do blend easy. Okay, that was 25. Now this is 23. I'm going to sweep that color out. This one out of line there, dang it. God burn it. Told you I'll go out of the lines. And I'm just going to color that one in full. Now we'll go back to 21. Draw a line, start breaking that ink down. I'm going to remove my paper so that the paper doesn't soak up the ink. Because you can see here when we were doing the background how it soaked up the ink because I was using so much. But I like to basically, if I'm doing just a little bit, and it depends on the technique, it does blend so easier for me on a glass surface. Amy Schulke from Valilla Arts uses glassine. The noise you hear is my dog Roscoe chewing on a chew bone. I'm surprised he's not growling, and as he enjoys it. Okay, now to add a little bit more color with 23, because I don't want to go back to my darkest. And there would be a shadow on the coffee from the cup. It would be a cast shadow for sure. Okay, now I'll go back to 21. Blend those edges. And you see, as you sweep the color across page, it does, and I'm adding a second coat of 21, or a third coat actually. It's making it, all the colors a little bit darker. And yes, I did it again. Went out of the lines. Shh, don't tell anybody. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. And there we go. So there's the coffee. And we're done with these markers, so we can put them away. And now we're going to start on the cup. And there's a whole lot of colors going on. You're going to need your blender marker. Show you a little tip. And where's others? 72, 10, and BB20. These are going to, 72, BG10, and BB20 are going to be on the circles. It's going to go in this order. '63 is your lightest, then 52, RV 52, RV 55, RV 66, and RV 69. We're only going to use a little bit of our V69 because it goes a long way. So we're going to start with RV 62, or RV 63, sorry. Okay, I can't remember which is lighter. So let's test. When in doubt, test it out. This is RV 63. This is RV 52. And test it on Copic paper. I always keep my scraps. This is RV 52. See the difference? From here to here. And RV 63. So RV 52 is your lightest. Then 63. Now let's see between, these are great blending colors, by the way. RV 55 and RV 66. Here's RV 55. 2 swipes. RV 66. 2 swipes. Obviously, RV 55 is lighter than RV 66. Okay? So, if you take these 3, blending from RV 66 to RV 63 is going to be more difficult. But when you throw in RV 55, now you have a transition color. That will make your blending much easier. So that's why I throw in, go from one to the other. And I'm looking at my, for the life of me, mine went blank. And yeah, because there is no middle color, it's just these three in the 60s. And then this is a perfect highlight color. So this 4-color combination, 3-color combination, I use a lot. Or this combination. So there's a lot you can get out of these 3 markers to get a really nice pink. So we're going to start with RV52, which is the lightest here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our blender marker. We're going to go ahead and wet these circles and color them in. Oh, remove your paper, because I don't want the blending solution let me do this for you. This might help you. B63 RB66. Let me just take down here and show you. Whoa. RV69. Great combo. You can do different combos with just these 5 markers. Okay, so I took the paper away because I want to be on glass, because I do not want the paper to absorb my blending solution. Now I'm only going to do that many so far. You can kind of see they're a little bit gray. So now I'm going to take my RV52 and I'm quickly and what it does is it keeps, if you go out of the lines a lot like I do, and you can do a circle at a time. It keeps the ink out of the circle. And we're going to be doing this several times with your blending marker. I need to move up. Okay. Careful of that little coffee dribble. We're creating that barrier. I do it because I color outside the lines. Speaking of which, I need to put my reading glasses on, because my regular glasses are just not cutting it. And no ophthalmologist right now with the epidemic are doing eye test. And it's really bad when you have to special order readers that are 3.25 because you cannot find them in a store. I guess that makes me a magoo. Next I'm going to have to move to a great big clip-on magnifying glass. Okay, so that's 52, or that's that. Let me switch to my readers. Woo! Hey, I can see. All right. Now, some people, teachers will rush through, or, you know, kind of rush through. I'm not a fast colorer. Nope. I can be fast when I'm teaching live because I'm on a deadline. And they're like, slow down. And even when I'm taking online classes, I hit pause a lot because I can't keep up. So that is, you know, nice that you can pause the video at any time to keep up, or to go back, rewind, go, what did she say? Or, wait a minute, she started a sentence and she didn't finish it. Yes, I do that too. Because my mind is on one thing and I'm trying to tell you something. So actually my mind's on going several different directions. Okay, so we're just going to color this in. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to get several coats. Barrier. Doesn't have to go the same direction. Doesn't matter. I just want a coat of color. Be really careful of the bunny. Some of you may not like coloring on your tonic glass mat. But there are good reasons for it. Like blending this when you use, and you don't want it to dry as fast. You know, the circles. This did bleed in here. Can't really see it, but I can. Okay. Whoops. How did I do that? We'll worry about that background later. Now I'm going to take the really scary, and I'm not going to open this over the, yeah. This is a really dirty marker. It needs to be cleaned. Don't judge. I have my reasons. Main reason is my mom's not here to clean them. Put another. If you just hold it there for a second, it'll spread. Being quiet so I can concentrate, stay on the lines as I flick ever so gently. My hand's starting to shake. Okay. not going to use a lot of this color. Do some longer flicks down here. You can put your blending solution up here. If you get it into the sky or the background, it's not really a sky, it's just a background. You kind of, I don't like leaving the back naked. I'm sorry, I'm going off camera. I need to scoot closer to my desk. I just went outside, which is going to move that light pink. We're going to go heavier down here. Just a touch here. Might be easier to do a line. Jagged line. Sometimes. There you go. So I did a jagged line there. We're going to come up here in the crevices of the coffee. Okay, so we're done with that for right now. Now we're going to go to RV66, this color, and we're going to blend this color. You're like, okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go back into the really, really dark, and we're going to sweep the color down. You're going to have to work it. Draw a line. And you know, I learned this from Jennifer Dove a long time ago. Draw a line with your lightest color over your darkest color, because it starts to break down the previous color, and it allows you to blend the next color easier. See how that blended? So what am I going to do here? I'm going to draw a line. Draw a line. Draw a line. And I'm going to start flicking, sweeping. I call it sweeping. I don't know. It just makes more sense to me. Started doing that in classes. Go back, do it again. Right now I'm focused solely on blending out that dark line. Draw a line. Come back up here. Now I want you to flick up heavier because the bottom of the cup is going to be darker. See how that blended? From the dark to the 66. I know, watching me. Sorry. Yesterday I was so good. I know, watching me do this right-handed is probably really awkward for you. Okay. Those are going to be wet for just a second, so I got to hurry. If you have to go back and re-wet them, go for it. Or go in and draw your barriers. So now you can see how far I'm going to go. Don't get flick happy and be very careful. But see? But I wetted that area. So now it's going to be easier to push the color out. Same with reds. If you have an area that you do not, re-wet it, pre-wet it, and it'll push out easier. Just like that. Yes, when you're coloring an image that has like circles like this, it is a challenge because you do not want to color those circles. Zippity doo dah. Now we're not done, so it looks kind of splotchy. Now we're going to go to 55. Oh, wait. Come back, 66. I'm going to leave that all. Even this up. And just a sweet little light. And then with 55, finish that. Now we have the handle done, okay? Now I'm going back into the previous color. And extending. Oh man. Sorry, when I get to getting into detail work, and I can't hear you yell, "You're off screen." Should have left a lip. Forgot. Okay, we're getting there. Now we're going to take 63, RV 63. Now, gots to be careful. You want to sweep back. See how that kind of eats that up a little bit? And I said super soaker yesterday. I meant super eater. Like the BG10. I don't want to push. It pushes color. And so will this. But we will get there. Now we're going to go back with the RV52. We're going to come back. Our barrier. Even out that side. Rascal, you need some table manners. Okay, so that blend over here is smooth. This here in the middle, we need to do some serious work on. So I'm going to go back with 66. Applying more pressure. Adding a second coat. Now it's time for the paper. Because now any extra ink I put down, I want to ensure that the paper soaks it up, so I don't get an oversaturated look. Okay, so that is blended out. And deepened. Oh, I forgot about up here. Ah, doggone it. Okay, back of the coffee mug is done. Now, we're going to take 55. Go back where we left off on the 66. Push those colors out. Come on, turkey. There you go. Might bleed back in. You lift and blow. Because I want it to dry fast so that it doesn't bleed back into the circle. Okay. Could also wave it in the air. There we go. That's cool. Can also bleed into the circles if you're using too much ink. Those were light-handed. The first were more heavy-handed. So now I'm going to go to RV63 because I just did 55. So now I'm going to go to 63 here. And I've gone so far, we've lost our 52, but that's okay. Nice blend. I need to work on this. Right. All right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. So now we have clean white circles. So, and we're done with our RVs. Not done with 52. Because we're going to add 52 in E40 down here later with some reflections. I'm going to put my 40 with this. Put it up here so I don't forget. So, let's say I want to show you. I'm going to draw a really gross circle. There's your right. Nah, smaller. Spent a lot of time on it. Okay, so let's just say that's a perfect circle. I can't draw to save my life. So I'm just going to demonstrate really easy how to draw color a circle that leaves a natural highlight. And let's say that our light source is coming from this direction or this direction. I'm going to take my marker, and I'm going to use one color because it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put some marker here, color here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this side and I'm going to draw another oval or circle within that circle and fill it in. Okay. Now, you want to just leave a sliver of white. And that's actually how you color a circle. So if I were to color a circle as a background, then I would come off that circle and finish it. And you would have the same thing. You would have a highlight just like that. And then you would shade it over here. Middle tone. And so forth. But that's, you color a circle within a circle and then outline the other. And that's what we're going to do in this itty bitty space. So we are going to start with the very tip of your marker. Now I hold my marker in many different ways depending on what I'm doing. And I want a steady light line so I'm barely touching the paper. Okay, now let's do, so there's one circle. With your BG10, that was 72. With your BG10, not the chisel end, then you can take and you can make your circle. Or since it's so small, you can dot it. Outline it and put a dot. And you can still see the crescent. On the 72, maybe I want to color that in. So that's pretty light. So let's go back over. Put a little dot. And look there, you have a little crescent shape. So the smaller the circle, actually the easier it is to do. Same with berries. If you're coloring something that has berries on it, here's a whole new ball game. That's a half circle. There we go. So now you just outlined it and added a dot. You don't need a gel pen. So we can use 20, BV20, or BV23, which I added yesterday. You can come off to that side and add a slight shadow. But you have to be very careful to use a very light line. If you were to do this on straight on glass, it would probably just blend in and you would lose your circles, your highlights. The paper stops the ink from spreading. Okay? And then we will come back later with pencils and add detail. Alright. So that's the cup. The last thing to do is Miss Bunny. Because I swear this is me in the morning. Okay, so you can put your RVs away except for your 52, your 40s. You can put your background colors away. Your RV23. We need your blender pen. You can put your E20s away. When you come back, we will do Miss Bunny. Okay, so we're back. And we're going to color the bunny. And unfortunately, I went to go download the videos, and when I thought I was taping the bunny, I wasn't. I didn't press start. So I taped the entire bunny without realizing that it wasn't taping. So I colored it again very quickly, and to get caught up, and you can kind of tell I did it fast. I touched this up. So if you say, doesn't it quite look the same? Well, it doesn't. Okay. So I'm going to teach you something, you may already know it, but it's called tip to tip. Tip to tip is when you touch the nib of your marker. I have R52 here, to the tip of another piece of paper. And just like we had this piece of paper on the back, I'm going to use it again. And I can rub it on the tip, or I can go inside the marker cap. And that's one of the reasons that I don't clean my caps as often, is because if when I do tip to tip, or I'm using my H2O brush filled with alcohol or blending solution, I get more pigment. And you just simply do that and you get a lighter color. Now you can touch yellow to red and fade it up to orange, but that's in another class. That's another time. So I'm going to put some ink on here, and you can see where it's turned pink. I use a Chow marker that's a blender because it does dirty your nib. And I do need to fill this. Not a problem. It will take me only a second. I'm not even going to count. I'm just going to do it. Because the nib is brown. some drops in there. This will evaporate quickly, so I need to get that. Make sure when you put it back that the nib is facing the same direction. The ink is still there, and this is juicy. That's a good one. Let's do this again. Okay, I'm going to start right here with the ear. And R52, because we base coated this with R52. Even though we lost it, we still had a base coat. And I didn't want to add any more color than we already had. Now, you can see here, this blue-green is going nowhere. Wrong tip. Oops, I want to do the nose. So it just gives me a really light color. And then clean it off. The more rough your paper is, this is paper I use to build cards with. Now, you're going to do, because you didn't do this, I did this. So you do tip to tip on the pads. And I'm going to grab another pink, or not. You know what? He's just going to have really pink, she or he or it. Mine on this one. It's just going to have more pink there. Now I need doggone it. I'm off today, aren't I? This bunny's fun to color. A little bit there. A little bit there. I went out. That's okay, because it'll be covered. And we can put those away. Clean that off. All the way around. When you do tip to tip, it does stain your tip, and that's why I have a separate marker just for that. And I just picked up a chow. It's the only chow I have. Okay. Now for the fun part. And I'm going to color her. I'm going to color her. I'm going to use W1. Let me show you the colors we're going to use for the rabbit. We're going to use W1, W3, W5, E41, and E42. We're going to start with W1. Leave white around the eye. Doesn't matter how well you color it in. Underneath. Come down the ear. A little piece of leg there. This green that I got into the bunny is going to disappear. You're not going to be able to see it. Okay. Now we're going to skip to W5. Roscoe, hush. He's chewing on a bone. Sorry. We're going to lightly. Now this is wet, so outline that eye. Okay? Now, when you do pointillism, you can do it on the top. Is normally how you do it. The lighter you touch the paper, the smaller it gets. The harder you touch your paper, the bigger it gets. We're going to use the side of the nib like this. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to do this on glass or do I want to do this on paper? Let's do it. I'm going to do it on glass. Make sure I stay on camera here. Somebody holler at me if I go off camera. I can't hear you. Okay. Now, I'm going to create a barrier. My barrier. Doing it on glass, I'm going to show you what happens. It spreads because there's nothing on the back side to soak it up. When you color on, have a piece of paper, it soaks up the ink, the extra ink. So I want to create this bunny to look muddled and haggard. And see how I'm spacing that out? Because it's going to fill in. Trust me. Don't worry about that ear. And we're just going to do, going to be really careful around here. Just do pointillism because this area is so small and we're doing glass. We don't want it to bleed outside like I did here because I didn't put it under my paper. Now we're going to go to W3. Watch this 5. See how that 3 is pushing where the 5 is? And it's starting to make that muddled look. And go up a little bit higher. Go along the back of the head. And you can see that it's shiny when I put it down. Close off that eye. Carefully with 3. Color that ear in. Color this ear right behind here. Now I can go back in. Put in some more 5 here. Muddle it some more. A lighter color will push a darker color and spread it. Now I have to go up above into the arm. Little dots. Little dots. Okay. Now W1, back to that. Where'd it go? There it is. Muddle it some more. I'm only focusing right now on the dark areas. I could use my blender pen, my blender marker 0, but I don't want it to look spotty. Notice I'm not going all the way to the end. The method to my madness. Just color that straight down. You're giving the bunny texture. Not fur. She's matted. She just got out of bed. She's not in the mood to mess with anybody, man. She hates mornings. I hate mornings. You don't want to even talk to me till I've had my second cup of coffee. Okay, so that's the W's. Now we're going to bring in E42. I'm going to dot some of that in. W1 is going to disappear. A little bit in the ears, back here, right here. Still there, okay. Keep checking to make sure I'm on screen. I'm not doing this again. Okay. Make sure you got all the areas. Dun, dun, dun. Now, 41. What is 41 going to do? For something else. It's going to push. I'm going to do it all over. Yeah. Wait till you see the back. I'll show you the back in a minute. But you're taking a gray and making it a gray-brown bunny. So that's pretty muddled. We're going to let that dry. And why we let that dry, oh, the back of the bunny. So you have a lot of ink. That's okay. I colored this on top of paper, and it's fine. You know, it doesn't look muddled, overcolored, oversaturated. With 52, we're going to add some reflection down here, just for interest. Very, very lightly. Just a couple swipes, just like that. And that's it. And then with E40, that sound is Roscoe chewing on a bone. He has no table manners. Then with E40, we're going to fill in any white that was left. Okay. And while that ink continues to dry, bring back our paper. Our RV69. Make sure that you've trimmed almost to the edge. I could have trimmed that a little bit more. And what we're going to do is going to put our chisel in right along that dotted line. And we're going to put it flat. and just drag your hand straight. We're framing this in. Cut off the paper. Okay. I got off the screen there for a minute. I'm gonna get back up. Now I'm off. Okay. Sometimes I think for me, if I just drag my hand and pull back my shoulder, it's better. No, I don't like looking at those lines. No, Roscoe. All right. Now, are we done? You can be. Fill in that tail right there. It'll blend. But I want to add a little bit more detail. And I'm going to use Prismacolor Light Umber or 941, 10% Warm Gray 1050, the Colorless 1077, and Black 935. And I'm going to start with the black. Make sure I'm on here. Okay. And I'm going to come over, stretch out my arm for a minute. Okay. I come over here. I'm going to put a little shadow right on that line. Yes, the heater's on. It's only in the 40s. Cold. Then I'm going to take the colorless, which I love because I can spread that color. You can also, if you don't like tip to tip or don't get it, you can find another soft pink, like R81. I still haven't lost my white in my circle, so I have my natural highlight. Now for the bunny. I'm going to start. I'm going to draw a line right here, a separation. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing her head back and pulling her arm forward. And then I'm going to make tiny little circles. And this is probably shaking the camera, because my desk is an antique. And then I'm going to take my colorless, yep, it's shaking the camera. You have to apply, and that was a medium pressure with that pencil. And sweep that color out. So now I just brought a little bit more dimension to the rabbit. Do the same thing here. Down around the back of this foot. Again with the colorless. If you go back and forth, you actually are pulling that pencil. And this is just really light because this is like blending without using any liquid substance. Because I don't want to see lines. Now you've got a shadow there. There. And there. And you can take it from one spot to another because it's, no. Now, I'm just going to do a fine line to define that eye. Fairly light, medium to hard pressure, very light pressure. Sweep that out like that. Now she actually has a shadow. And an eyelid. Okay. Now we're going to do something I learned from Amy Schulke, which is called scrumbling. This is going to add even more texture. And I learned this from the Lemons class, and I highly recommend it on Amy Schulke's class. If it's still there, take the Lemons class. It's awesome. So basically, very lightly, you're just taking your pencil, there's no blending, and you're going to do it really small, just like this, okay? I'm going to start with black. And what I'm doing is, the reason I wanted to do this technique is because it's muddled. So I'm focusing You don't think about it, you just do it. But what ends up happening is you end up accentuating where we muddled her. And in essence, it makes her look, when we're finished, she will look more haggard and sleepy, like she just rolled out of bed. You start with the black, very simple. If I put my thumb underneath there, I'll get a more harder line. So you want to pull away from the, don't choke up on the pencil, pull away from the pencil and put your pinky down so that you don't add too much pressure. That'll get you really light, feathery marks. Now I'm going to take the burnt umber, light umber. I'm going to go over top of that. I'm going to do bigger strokes. And as you go over the black, it blends them. And I get bigger. And then I can do them harder. Or not. But when you look closely, you can see them. But from a distance, you just see a texture. If you miss a spot, fill it in. Now with the light gray, just gonna fill in her tail. And do the same thing. The sharper the pencil, the better it works. Make sure you do it in where there's lighter. And come down and do just a little bit. Yes, that lemons class was amazing. I still have my lemons. I actually framed them. Now, if you want to do a little bit of scrumbling with your colorless, you can. What it will do is it will just blend those colors together and take away any harsh lines you may have caused. It will soften the look. Yeah, me likey. Okay, sorry if the camera's shaking, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's watching. Now I'm going to take a white gel pen. Start with the tail. Make a circle. In the original, I just kind of did a little bit of this, but these are longer. Make her tail really crazy. Okay. go over the line so you don't see it. And then over her head. I love this. Mindy does this in some of her classes. She has these little stars and accents. So Mindy does, Mindy Baxter, My Creative Scoop, does amazing classes as well. I recommend her if you're learning and want to learn more. And her classes are extremely affordable. mycreativescoop.com. And of course there's Jennifer Dove's Boot Camp. Put it on your bucket list. Hopefully she'll be able to have it this year. Okay. And whoever created the phrase, the best part of waking up, really is stupid. So that's our class. And haha, the 3 that I colored. So when you're done, this is size to fit. 5 1/4 by 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and you just cover your card front with a piece of black cardstock. And you've already got your outline, which appears to be matted already. And there's your card. What a fun card to send to a friend just to make them giggle. So thanks for joining me on this first free class. Giving back. I'm just giving back for those who can't afford to take classes right now with the COVID going around, the epidemic. And I've already planned a couple more classes that I'm doing. Look below in the description here, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and your discount code is on my blog post, which is down below. And please follow my blog so that by email, so that you know when the next class is coming. And I have a Facebook group that I just reopened. Please join because I advertise there as well. Thanks again. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll see you again next time. Bye.